My name is Alex, and this is a documentation of my time spent at a remote hut in the Austrian mountains. I feel so lucky to be able to call this place home for the next month. I'm going to be staying in that little wooden hut just there. And I'm not alone, because in the hut next to me are some cows and some goats.
Hallo, ich heiße Alex. Wie geht's? Okay, auf Wiedersehen.
We are 1,500 meters above sea level. It can get incredibly cold up here, very snowy. In fact, I think tomorrow's forecast is a lot of snow, which I'm pretty excited for. If you follow this channel already, you might already know that I get quite excited about coming to beautiful places like this in the mountains and staying at little cute huts like this. And I have a dream that when I'm a bit older and I have some more money, I want to buy my own hut like this in the mountains or somewhere beautiful. But right now, the closest I can get is renting out this hut for the next month, so I can sort of get a feel for what life is like in the mountains. You can just about see the tops of the mountains, but I promise you, when this cloud clears and you can see the whole landscape and view, it blew my mind, and I'm really excited to show you it as well. Anyway, I'm going to start bringing some of my stuff into the hut, organizing my things, and make it feel a little bit like home. Because 30 days, although it may only sound like a very small section of my life, I reckon it could feel like a rather long time, especially up here in the mountains where the days are short, the nights are going to be very cold. This place is just heavenly. Look at it. Boxes with everything I need to live for the next month. Just a second ago I could see the mountain on the other side, but we're up in the clouds, so in no time at all it can go from being a clear view to being a complete white view. This hut looks very small from the outside, but when you come in you realise that there's actually so much space. There's this room here, like a porch area, I guess. I'll give you a proper tour a bit later on. I've got all my stuff in boxes and bags, and I need to sort all that out and place everything nicely, make it feel homely and cozy in here. Can you tell that I am in my element right now? Mountains, mountain huts, wilderness, beautiful scenes, snow, all those things just make me very happy. It might not seem very important, but I've brought these with me. These are like garden shoes. You can get them from a garden centre, and they are perfect for when I'm going in and out. You can slip them on and off very easily, whereas these, like my hiking shoes, they're a lot nicer to walk in and they're warmer, but they're hard to get on and off. This is what I'm going to wear most of the time in the hut. The fire has only been going for a couple of hours, but it is already 37 degrees C. That's really warm and toasty. And luckily, 0 parts per million of carbon monoxide. It's getting hot in here. Clothes and sleeping stuff goes in my bedroom. All my work stuff goes over here. And it's pretty cool because the main fire is in here. So this room is going to always be hotter than out here. So this is where I'm going to keep my food. I've got a whole bag of books. This bag is my cure for boredom. I figured with not many people to talk to up here in the mountains, I'm going to need books to read. They're going to go in my bedroom. It's got so misty out there. I can barely see the trees out in front of the hut. I've hardly done anything today, but for some reason I'm shattered. I left my home in England very early yesterday morning. I packed the van up, left home, drove to the crossing, the train crossing underneath the sea, got into France, and then it was about 12 hours from France to where I am now. Last night I slept in the back of my van in a kind of service station car park, and then this morning again I woke up early and drove the rest of the journey. Somewhere in South Germany the roads started to get really bad. The snowfall was pretty strong and the roads had a very thin layer of ice and snow on them. It was kind of too shallow to put the snow chains on, but kind of a bit too slippery to drive with control. This is why I drove all the way to the Alps. This is what I came for. Snow. mountains. I love it. As I got nearer to the destination, I realised that it wasn't going to be possible to drive all the way up to the hut. I left my van a little bit down the valley where the roads weren't so bad. The car is staying here, down in the valley. And the guy who owns this place offered to take me up and all my stuff up in his little snowmobile. So currently my van is about half an hour, 40 minutes walk down the valley. So it's quite a way just to get to my van. But we're up here. I've got enough food to survive for at least a few days before I have to go shopping again. And on the subject of food, I'm going to make some dinner. I don't think I could have loaded this bowl up anymore. It's about to overflow. You might be wondering why this 24-year-old kid has sent himself off into the mountains. And I have been wondering that myself. But I believe there is a purpose for this madness. I really wanted there to be like a deeper reason why I was going to spend a month of my life up here. I was scrolling aimlessly through social media the other day and I came across this video of David Bowie sharing some words of wisdom. And he said something along the lines of, it's when your feet aren't quite touching the bottom of the pool, that's when you start to create something interesting. That's when you learn about yourself. The past year of my life, I've been constantly trying to do just that. Push myself out of where I feel safe and do things which I thought weren't really within my capability. And by doing that, I have learned an awful lot and I feel really good after doing all these things that I once never thought I could do. And that's one of the reasons I'm here. It's kind of a challenge. I'm challenging myself to see how I fare at 30 days up here in the mountains. I want to see what this experience does to me. I mean, physically, I'll definitely be healthier and fitter for it because I can't be lazy. I have to get up in the morning every day, put the fire on. I'm going to have to do lots of walking, which means my legs and my body should be physically healthy, which is a good thing, I guess. Another reason for being here is that I want to learn what it's like to live in the mountains. Of course, from the outside looking in, it's like, wow, it's so beautiful. But what is it actually like to live up here? I want to learn about the surroundings a little bit deeper. I want to find out about the wildlife that surrounds this hut. I want to maybe meet up with some of the other people who live in the huts around this one and see what they say about living up here in the mountains. I want to really get a feel for what it is like to be a mountain person. So basically this is a kind of human experiment on my 24-year-old self to see how Alex copes with 30 days in the mountains. It's also a chance for me to learn as much as possible about the surroundings. And of course there are lots of other things that I want to do while I'm here. I want to cook plenty of nice food. Food is my favourite thing in life. It's the best thing about life, in fact. And I want to spend lots of time cooking on the wood burner, making some nice meals. There's a barbecue outside, so I want to try that. I love setting out on big adventures like this because when you go and do something which is a bit out of your comfort zone, it's like asking so many questions. Is this experience going to change me? Maybe. Am I going to be eaten by a brown bear in the woods? Maybe. Am I going to be murdered by a crazy axe murderer also living in the mountains? Maybe. Am I going to have lots of fun? Maybe. Who am I going to meet while I'm here? What am I going to learn about life? All those things are unknown, and I can't wait to see how this adventure pans out. I'm honestly really excited to be here. Alright, that's enough blabbing. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. This is rather nice. Might get enough snow to go skiing or tobogganing down a hill. This hut is in the Austrian Alps. It's in the state or the region called Tyrol on the west side of the country, and we're basically in the middle of the Alps. From my hut I can look across the valley to another mountainside, and then also I can kind of look down that way towards the river valley, and there's a river called, I think it's called the Inn, I guess named after Innsbruck, which is the nearest big city. My nearest little village is called Weerberg, and from Weerberg it's about 5 or 10 minutes drive and then another 30 or 40 minutes walk. So it's quite a bit of effort just to get here. While speaking to the owner of this hut yesterday, I learned that this hut, well, the framework of this hut is about 300-400 years old. Of course, a lot of new things have been put on. That door, for example, is about 200 years old, and then there's a newer door at the front, and obviously things have been redone over the years to keep things working well and in order. Apparently this used to be just another farm building like the one next door where there are cows and goats. When I went out early this morning, it was about like that deep in snow, and then over the past couple of hours it's got to about that deep. So I don't know how much we're going to get today, but apparently it's going to keep snowing most of the day. I'll give you a tour around the whole of this hut and show you around. I think this is the most important thing inside this hut, especially now as it's winter. This is a Hass and Son wood burner. It has this wood burning compartment at the top where I put in all the fuel. Under here is the ashtray collecting thing, and then an airflow. I can shut off the air to make things burn cooler, and then add air and make it really hot and burn quickly. There's this oven on the right. I think managing temperatures will be quite hard because when you burn wood it's very different to using a gas stove or an electric hob. It's harder to control the temperatures and keep them right. But I want to try roasting some food in this oven at some point. On the top you've got this cooking plate. I can use this frying pan and cook food on there. And then I've got this massive pot, which is very important. In here is a load of water. The aim is to keep this topped up at all times, so there's always water being warmed up. I can then transfer the water into a bucket and take a shower like I did this morning. I bought this battery powered pump shower. I managed to hang it up from a tree outside, and I had my first shower of the trip this morning. And it works. Warm shower in the snow. In this corner of the room it's about 40 to 45 degrees when this thing has got full airflow and burning well. So when I need to wash and dry my clothes, I'm definitely going to hang them up on the door maybe, above the fire, or on this actually. I love having all the cooking stuff hanging on the wall. I like that a lot. So the only way to heat this hut is with wood and burning it inside this burner. There's also another burner on the other side in the other room, but I haven't used that one yet. In terms of water supply, there is a spring outside the hut, which is where I get all my drinking water, all the water for cooking and washing up. I have to bring a bucket out there, turn the tap on full, fill it up, and then bring it back in here. I need to keep the tap running just a little bit at all times, because if you turn it right off, it can freeze in the pipe and then it can blow. So it needs to stay on the whole time. This is my water for the big saucepan. Pour it into either this bucket here or fill up my drinking container. But the water, because it comes straight from the ground, it's so cold and it tastes amazing. And here is the kitchen. It's quite incredible that there is actually electricity supply up here. There's some wires which come from down in the valley all the way up to this hut. And that gives me so much luxury. I've got this double electric hob which makes cooking really easy. I've got a kettle, a toaster, there's a radio over there. And of course, lights, which is very handy. There's these really neat lights which are on these little clamps. so you can just put them anywhere, and then it has a flexible arm, so you can just point it in any direction, which is so cool. And there's also a fridge to help keep stuff cold. Underneath the kitchen area, there's drawers and cupboards with all the cooking equipment that you could ever need. And then across the room over there is a cupboard and some shelving with more food and cooking stuff. For washing up, I can put water in here, and then there's a little tap. And in here is my bedroom. And last night I got a very good night's sleep. A nice, warm, cozy bed. There's almost as much room in here as there is in the other couple of rooms. But I've been trying to not really use this space. Because it's so cold outside, I want the smallest area to heat up. So I'm sort of just using this as a place to store food that needs to stay cold. And also just where I keep my shoes. That's about it really, but it's a nice room. Here's the other burner. I haven't yet used it, but I might try it at some point. And then there's a secret door which I can open and go upstairs, because there's a whole nother room upstairs. Hello. And there's so much space in here. There's enough space for like 4 beds. You can fit quite a lot of people up here. But again, it's very cold because there's no fire in this room. I mean, there will be a little bit of heat from the chimney. And then this slides out and can be used as another bed. It snowed so much already today. Look at that. It's probably, wow, it's about that deep in snow. Snowball. There's this really nice outdoor seating area, which I can't see myself using much, to be honest. But it's a nice place to sit and admire the snow and the view. Snow's getting deeper. There's like quite a lot on the table now. The contrast between the freezing cold outside and the, I think it's like 40 degrees right now in here. It's amazing. Well, it snowed all day today. There's about half a foot of snow on the ground now, which is ideal for skiing or tobogganing down a hill. I didn't really manage to get much done today. I just sort of looked out the window at the snow and that's it really. I've just been, you know, soaking up the beautiful scenery and enjoying my time here. See you tomorrow. Morning. It's cold, but everything looks so beautiful now that it's covered in snow. It snowed all of yesterday, all of last night, but today I need to walk down to my car, drive into town, get some food, and later on I want to do a bit of exploring through the woods above the hut and set my trail camera, which is a motion sensing camera which hopefully I can capture some wildlife with. Let's make it down the mountain. Today I am wearing these, they're called gaiters I think. They basically cover your ankles and your legs so that snow doesn't get into the boots. Now those ones look like deer, I think, because the deer have 2 little hooves. That is a bee house. It says house to the bees, and in there will be a load of colonies of honeybees making delicious honey. The light hitting those mountain tops just looks insane. Managed to clear the van. Let's drive into town. Das ist mein Essen und Bier. I just popped into this place called Silver Sport and I spoke to a guy called Marcus, and he said that him and some of the people who work here are up for showing me how to ski. So at some point during my time here in Austria, I'm going to hopefully become a skier. Just left the van in its parking space and I'm heading back up the mountain. I love these buildings. Check out this one here. All the tools hanging up on the outside. I think most people around here are farmers. You can hear animals inside there. There's a barn full of stuff for farming. So misty today. This hill is rather big. I didn't really think about how I would bring 2 massive bags of food right up here. Oh no. I was going to try and catch that, but failed. The hut is just there. You can barely see it, it's so misty. Blimey, it's tiring. I did not think I would find a mushroom. It's a boletus with like sponges underneath. It's quite big. Some footprints along this little track here. My plan is to set the trail camera up somewhere near where I find the footprints, and then we can find out what is making the footprints. Exciting game, this. We have chosen a tree. Well, that might be perfect actually. Camera is set up. Stay tuned for the next episode where we will come and check this camera. We might get nothing. We might get a brown bear. Who knows? Cheers. Or Prost, as they say here. Today I realised the importance of language. As I was walking back to the hut just now, I crossed paths with the farmer who works next door. He comes up and feeds his animals every day. So I stopped, had a very short conversation with him. I can't speak much German at all, but I managed to say hello, how are you? And I asked him about the wildlife in the local area. So although it was a very brief conversation, it was still very nice. You know, any human interaction whilst up here in the mountains feels really good. So I've been here for 3 days now and I am thoroughly enjoying myself. It is just the most magnificent place I think I've ever been. As you can see from my countdown chart, I've still got many more days up here and I've got plenty of fun, exciting plans for the next few weeks. And if you want to stay up to date with all those things, head over to my Instagram. I'll put a link in the description. I'll also put it on text here. I post more regularly on there. Thanks for watching everyone. I'll see you next time. Now leave me in peace while I drink my beer and enjoy the view.